Abu Dhabi's Crown Prince Khalid bin Mohammed Al Nahyan arrived in India for a two-day official visit on Sunday.
In the last 10 years, India-UAE ties have seen a dramatic rise.
Welcome to GVS Dialogue. I'm Najma Minhas. A historic first visit to India by Abu Dhabi's Crown Prince Sheikh Khalid bin Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan's first official visit to India is even more significant because he is next in line to the throne, the UAE's equivalent to Saudi's MBS. The visit has been seen the signing of a total of 5 agreements so far in various fields, but most importantly in nuclear, LNG and the oil sectors. A memorandum of understanding has been reached in nuclear energy cooperation, a pact that provides a framework for giving services for operating and maintaining of the Barakah nuclear power plant in the UAE. This is very significant because it is the first nuclear plant in the Arab world set up to meet the country's commitment to go net zero on carbon emissions by 2050. The UAE does not have the experience for operational and maintenance services for the plant and has been in decision mode for a while whether to go with China or India. Obviously, it's decided India, and it's a good strategic decision from their perspective, given the Western geopolitical tensions with China. India has extensive experience in nuclear energy with a well-established nuclear power program which has been developing since the 1960s. India also has significant international collaboration in nuclear technology, especially after the India-US Civil Nuclear Agreement, which was signed in 2008. This ended India's isolation from the global nuclear trade and gave it huge inroads into the international system. On LNG, ADNOC, the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, has signed a long-term 15-year LNG deal to supply the Indian Oil Corporation with 1 million metric ton per annum. Now, realistically, this is not a large amount. India's total annual LNG imports are much larger. In 2022, for instance, India imported around 20 million metric ton per annum of LNG. However, it's a start. A production concession agreement was also signed between the Urja Bharat and ADNOC, which will allow India to bring crude oil from the Abu Dhabi onshore Block 1. Both of these agreements will contribute in improving India's energy security by ensuring a steady flow of crude oil. However, hopefully, they will honour their commitments because signing a contract does not necessarily guarantee anything. Eni, a large, reputable Italian energy company, and Gunvor, a Swiss commodity trading company, both had long-term LNG contracts with Pakistan. Eni had a 15-year contract and Gunvor had a 5-year contract, but both reneged on these LNG contracts with Pakistan during the 2021-2022 global gas shortage, where prices just shot up. It contributed to the country's huge energy crisis at that time. ADNOC and India's Strategic Petroleum Reserve have also signed a MOU regarding India's strategic petroleum reserves. The deal ensures that India can access emergency crude supplies, which enhances its ability to mitigate any global oil supply shocks, which is crucial since India is, as I said earlier, the world's second largest oil importer after China. The strategic petroleum reserves are emergency stockpiles of crude oil that countries maintain to ensure energy security in event of the supply disruptions, such as natural disasters or geopolitical crisis such as we saw in the first few days after the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The US has the world's largest store, which are said to be around 700 million barrels. China has around 500 million. India, which launched its strategic petroleum reserves in 2004 to boost its energy security, is currently believed to have around 39 billion, which is set to increase to around 74 million over the next couple of years. These agreements signed between the two countries are part of the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, which both countries, the UAE and India, signed in February 2022 with the aim of reaching a non-oil trade target of $100 billion by 2030. In 2023, this stood at $48 billion. The agreement has become a template for similar trade pacts that the US has since then signed with other nations, including Israel, Turkey, Indonesia, and South Korea. All these agreements aim to boost exports and increase foreign investments, reflecting the UAE's own ambition to diversify its economy beyond oil. The country has emerged in the past 3 decades as one of the most dynamic in the region, with leaders who have a vision for the nation. Understanding that as a small emirate, it needs strong political relationships, which will ensure its political stability and its economic prosperity. But India is also investing a lot in this relationship. Prime Minister Modi has been 7 times to the United Arab Emirates, starting in 2015. So why? And I'll also cover in a second vlog the geopolitical implications for other countries in the region on this relationship. I would like to ask you to like, share and subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying the content. Your engagement will help the channel to grow. Over 3.5 million Indians live in the UAE. Many are expats who've made it their home, but many more are still Indian residents who are there on short-term visas and have a close connections back home. They are the single largest ethnic immigrant community in the country. Indians make up approximately 35 to 38% of the UAE's total population, and they provide the backbone of its manual labor class, along with other South Asian countries. But also they're in managerial and professional jobs. They own businesses. Many Indian creative artists are also based there. All of this without whom the UAE just could not operate the way it does. For India, the UAE provides a lucrative opportunity for its people to find jobs, and the country hugely benefits from the remittances sent back. In 2023, these amounted to around $15 billion, making the UAE the country's second largest source of remittances. This represented around 18% of India's total inward remittances, which actually amount to a total of $125 billion, which is the highest in the world. India direly needs to boost its economic growth, especially the type that brings jobs to people in the country. The UAE is India's third largest trading partner, and it's one of the biggest export destinations for Indian goods. In 2022 to 23, bilateral trade between the two countries amounted to $85 billion. And the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement has further strengthened this trade relations by reducing tariffs and fostering greater investment between the two nations. For India, the pact has reduced tariffs on about 80% of all goods and provided zero duty access to 90% of Indian exports.
Of having a CEPA, Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement.
India for us is only a natural partner that we would do this with. And so talks began, and no one thought that they will be done under 3 months, but everyone pulled through, and it was quite a feat to be achieved. And here we are today celebrating the 2nd year anniversary of implementing it. It's been going great. Trade has increased by 16%. Our trade, including oil, is at $85 billion. Interest between the two countries in terms of companies wanting to invest either way is phenomenal. I have meetings scheduled all the time with companies from the UAE wanting to invest and expand into India, or Indian companies wanting to expand into the UAE.
The UAE is also in the top 8 largest foreign direct investment sources for India. It's invested around $20 billion in the country since the year 2000. Both countries have a growing and important energy security relationship as well. It's especially important for India. India is one of the world's largest consumers of energy, while the UAE is a key producer of oil and gas. The UAE is not only a key supplier of crude oil and LNG gas to India, but it's also playing this critical role now in India's energy security, both through signing these long-term contracts and its role in the Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserve. ADNOC has become the first foreign company allowed to store oil in India's strategic petroleum reserves. The strengthening of energy ties between India and the UAE is also important for the latter, as after 2022, when India diversified its energy sources, it reduced its dependence on the traditional energy suppliers from the Middle East, including the UAE, and it moved towards buying the much cheaper oil that was coming from Russia at the time, and still is. For the UAE, it solidifies its role as a critical energy partner to India amid these or future shifting global energy alliances. Going forward, both countries are also negotiating to collaborate on renewable energy, particularly in solar power, as both nations are moving towards greener energy sources. The UAE is already a world leader in many of these fields, and India, with its huge carbon footprint, desperately needs to take urgent action on this issue. India is also pushing the UAE for its promised investment in the Ratnagiri refinery and petrochemicals project in Maharashtra. ADNOC and Saudi Aramco together have a 50% stake in this project that's expected to cost around $44 billion in total. But once completed, it will be one of the largest refineries in the world, with a capacity of around 60 million metric tons per annum. It will also provide multiple benefits to India. Along with the energy security, it will help to create those direly needed job opportunities for Indian graduates. The two countries are also working on a number of bigger regional projects together, which have geopolitical implications for those around them, from the IMEC corridor to the I2U2 Security Pact. The India-Middle East Economic Corridor was launched during the G20 summit in New Delhi in September 2023 to huge fanfare. It was to improve the connectivity and foster economic cooperation between India, the Middle East and Europe. And it was set up, is believed, as a competitor to the Chinese BRI initiative. Not much has been done on it so far. The I2U2 group is a strategic partnership which involves India, Israel, United Arab Emirates and the United States. Launched in 2021 by the US, it encourages all its allies in that region to collaborate in various sectors, including technology, infrastructure, food, security, energy, and defense. And it's seen as another anti-China initiative set up by the USA to stop the Chinese footprint in the Middle East. The UAE has also joined BRICS recently with India's support, and the two countries are starting to trade with each other using local currency trading system through the alternative currency system that is being set up by BRICS. More on this in the part 2 of this topic in another vlog. Let me end here saying that the two countries are in a win-win situation which underlies the strategic relationship which is being driven by powerful economic and energy trade relations, which is enhanced by soft cultural diplomacy and very strong people-to-people ties. Please like, share and subscribe if you enjoy the content on this channel.